You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neil. I'm here with Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing well. Neil is doing his Neil work, which means he's introducing the show.
Introducing the show. It's always fun to introduce these. We haven't had one of these in a long time, like a traditional bonus episode, which we're really excited about today. We get a chance to do a deep dive on a fun topic. We've done many different TV shows or movies or maybe sports or other topics I can't remember, but today's going to be a fun one, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a show that's near and dear to my heart, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia. So
that's true.
I'm excited, and Neil, just prepare yourself because I'm going to hunt you after this episode.
I welcome it, and I haven't seen too much of the show. I was introduced to it from a cousin many years ago. He knows that I love musicals, so he showed me The Nightman,
lovely.
So I love that. That was the first one I ever saw, and then I've since have cherry picked different episodes, or people will send me episodes like where Dennis, and I think it's Dennis and Mac are kind of like an old married couple, and he's like breaking plates. So I love that one where they're beating up children. I love anytime children on screen are getting hit with dodgeballs or getting beat up for some reason. It cracks me up. So there's that, and then many other episodes. But
if you're looking for recommendations, I would bet that our three wonderful guests today have some for you. So,
and I think you're right, and that's the segue I've been looking for my whole life. So thank you. So we're going to introduce our three competitors today before we introduce our illustrious host. Our first competitor is coming to us from Pensacola, Florida. We have Pat with us today. How are you, Pat?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And we're super excited to have you here. We were talking before the recording that you were listening to Triviality, on a long road trip, and we appreciate that. But tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into Always Sunny.
So I'm living here in Pensacola right now. I'm a helicopter pilot in the military, currently a flight instructor at the Naval Flight School down here. I've been listening to you guys for a couple of years, but I've gone through your entire back catalog a couple of times. So it's really, really great to be on here for the first time. But Always Sunny, I can't even tell you where I started watching it for the first time. I think it was when it started airing back in early 2000s, but just the absolute chaos and degenerate people on that show. Just I fell in love with it and watched the characters kind of progress over the 16 seasons they have. But definitely one of my favorite shows on the TV running right now.
Well, thank you so much for being here, for your service as well. And, I've always wanted to go into a helicopter after seeing many movies, but especially seeing Tom Cruise run one in Mission Impossible. So if there's ever a chance to be flown by you, I will take it. So let us know, and I'll pay the troll tow, whatever I must do to get in your helicopter. But thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Our next competitor has been on the show before. Always great to see her, coming to us from Atlanta. We have Bailie. How are you, Bailie?
Heyo, I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. Tell us, for folks at home maybe who don't know you, a little bit about yourself and anything you'd like to tell us about your Always Sunny fandom.
Cool. Yeah, I am a stormwater engineer. So Pat has the sky covered. I got the water. And I spend my time doing aerial arts and being an aunt. Got into pickleball recently, and book clubs. Let's see, the way I got into Always Sunny is probably like everyone. I had a coworker in high school who was moving, and she had a bunch of DVDs to sell, and one of those DVDs was season 1 and 2 of It's Always Sunny for like $5, and I said, sure, I'll take a look at that. And I didn't really like the first 2 seasons and put it down for a long time. And then I saw The Gang Gives Frank an Intervention, and I was like, oh, this whole thing makes sense now. I love this show, and I've been all in ever since. The theme song is my ringtone, has been for like 10 or so years. It's a great satirical show.
That's a great story. I think that's a lot of how us got into different TV shows. I know my brother had a classmate in the AV club who gave him a bunch of 24 DVDs, and that's when I first started watching 24, and I binged all of them at once. But yeah, no, that's a great story, and I think that's how it started for many of us. So thank you for being here. We're excited to have you. And our final competitor is coming to us from Toledo, Ohio. Annelise, how are you, Annelise?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and anything you'd like to tell us about Always Sunny.
Sure. So I work at a manufacturing company out of Toledo, Ohio, doing kind of like business process automation and system integration. So fun tech stuff, and then helping out with a local nonprofit, Cool Cat Science. Each kid teams up with their parent or guardian, and they work on STEM projects together. So those two things keep me pretty busy. And then how I got into Sunny, I think I too fought against enjoying the show for a while, but my siblings were really into it, and eventually I just kind of, through osmosis, also joined in the fandom of the show. I think my favorite two episodes are probably The Gang Reignites the Rivalry and Charlie Rules the World, so if you need a place to start, I think those are great episodes.
Ooh, I'll have to take some notes on that. That sounds really good. And it is funny how a lot of the best TV shows, Jeff and I talk about this all the time, that maybe the first episode doesn't really pull you in, or on, in hindsight it's good, but in the beginning, like I know with Parks and Rec, not the greatest first season. I mean, it is nice after you watch the whole catalog, but that and even Seinfeld, took its time to find its footing. So sometimes the best are kind of a slow burn for a little bit. But yeah, thank you all three for being here. So for competition's sake, it's going to be Pat, Bailie, and Annelise as far as the order is concerned. But our special host today, we're so excited, reached out to us and said he wanted to do an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia bonus episode, which we were so excited. We always love having him here, coming to us from Ottawa. Paul Paquet, how are you, Paul?
I'm good. And there's a theme today, too, because the first episode of Sunny I saw was a first season episode like 20 years ago, and I hated it. And I didn't understand they were supposed to be laughing at them and not with them. So it's 2022, and I'm watching the Pamela Adlon show on FX. I think it's called Better Things, maybe. And the way my PVR works is I get an extra 2 minutes at the end in case there's an issue. So I'm watching the show, and FX goes from the end credits of one show to the cold open of Sunny. So I get, it's this Always Sunny show that I hate. Well, that was kind of amusing, though. And there was one episode where they find an endless hole in the bathroom. I laughed so hard. I said, okay, this is coming on later tonight. I got to record this. I got to know more about that hole. And of course, if you're a fan of the show, they don't mention the hole ever again until the very end. So
I feel like we have to start doing that with Triviality, to have some sort of weird in-joke that never gets finished, Jeff.
But I got obsessed with it after that. So,
well, I mean, how many seasons total have there been now? It's been a lot, almost 20, right?
18, I think.
18? Okay, so I mean...
16.
Yeah.
16? Okay,
Yep.
so a lot of ground to cover, obviously, Paul, and I know to kind of distill all this into a bonus episode must have been difficult, but I'm sure you've chosen some of the greatest hits. Is there anything special we need to know about the game, or are we ready to get into it?
Well, something like this is always tricky, because on one hand, you want to have questions that will challenge the contestants. On the other hand, you want to have things that people watching who aren't big fans of the show have a chance of jumping in on. So there's a bit of a blend that way.
Okay.
And I sort of misunderstood the assignment. So I'm hopefully these evenly distributed in terms of difficulty, but we'll see.
And it always happens this way. So everyone's name is always randomized. So, Pat, you're first. So that could be good, could be bad, but I think it'll be a fun episode regardless. And I'll be keeping score along here with Jeff. And let's just see how it goes. It should be about 30 questions.
Yeah.
And then we have a special swing round from Paul, which we don't normally have. So it's a nice surprise. Like Frank, doesn't he come out of a sofa or something? So it's like Frank coming out of the sofa. So yeah. But we'll throw it to Paul. We're going to kind of stay silent here for the most part and keep score and keep you all updated on the back end.
Should we begin with the ritual of sportsmanship? Good luck to you, sir.
And to you.
And to you.
So number one, rash decisions based on fear. When the gang buys a boat, a character named Ray leads Mac and Dennis to think they're about to be on the wrong end of the implication. Ray is played by the brother of what actor who is a big deal here at Triviality?
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. That's Don Swayze in the episode.
Oh, okay.
Hey, there you go. Point on the board.
But you definitely have to answer the question, because of the implication.
Because of the implication.
You have to have a question with the implication, but I realize there are things you can get away with on the show that we absolutely cannot get away with on Triviality. So we have to be very careful about how you phrase some of these. Number 2, what song by the Tom Tom? Oh, the category being Sweet, Sweet Fantasy. What song by the Tom Tom Club has appeared several times in the show, notably in the Thanksgiving episode, and at the very end of season 12, just before Dennis storms off to raise his son?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about that song that's like, I'm in heaven with my boyfriend, my lovely boyfriend. I guess that's going to be my answer.
It's an instrumental called Genius of Love.
Oh, boy.
And Mariah Carey samples it in Fantasy. Number 3, no minorities allowed. When the gang solves the bathroom crisis, they're on island time and off to see a concert by what person who definitely will not perform the Pina Colada song?
This one is not one of the ones I rewatched recently. I'll just name one of the central cast members. I'll just say Charlie.
It is Jimmy Buffett. I browned out that evening. Given that alcohol abuse is a common theme on the show, you'd think product placement by a beer would be a bad idea. Budweiser backed out and insisted its logo would be blurred digitally for the first season. But what brand began its product placements in season 5?
I see Coors a lot, so I'm going to go with Coors.
Yeah, Coors Light specifically, but we'll take Coors.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't get a better steak in an arcade setting. Speaking of product placement, fans were enraged when the episode The Great Recession first aired. Not only had this chain paid for product placement, they also bought all the ads that night. What was the show? What is the chain?
That would be Dave & Buster's.
It is Dave & Buster's. And speaking of product placement, Dennis was married to what woman with whom he reunited at a Subway?
I'm going to go with Maureen Ponderosa.
That is right. Pondy's the coolest.
Hey, everyone's on the board now.
Yeah. Next up, Purple. Where's Purple? Whiskey, beer, island of green and fight. These words tell the gang where they should vacation in the Irish. In one of the seasons. Where do they end up going?
Yeah, I think it's 16, but it's the season where they go to Ireland.
Yep. Yeah. The gang's favorite restaurant was an Italian place that Glenn Howerton named for a star of Spy Kids he was thinking about while he was writing the Gun Fever episode. What is this category? What is this restaurant called? And the category is Fresh Fish Daily.
Gugino's.
Yes. Gugino's, that set actually was in the lobby of the old Herald Examiner building. And they don't film there anymore because they've revived the entire building. It's an actual working building now.
It's funny. So I was on the lot at Fox not too long, or a couple years ago, and I was taking a tour. A friend of mine works for 20th Century Fox, and he gave me a tour of the Simpsons building and recording area. And it was really funny because there's all these sports cars outside, and then the crummiest car is a broken down Prius, which is Matt Groenig's, however you say his name. But he had the worst car on the lot, which is funny to me because he's the head of the show. But across from them, like 10 feet away, is the Always Sunny bungalow where they write all the episodes and everything. And you can see through the window, they have the original Paddies from the YouTube videos inside their office. And then Glenn Howerton's like sports car was there, and everyone else's sport. It was just funny. There was like a Lamborghini there and a Tesla, and it was just kind of funny seeing that. So, yeah.
If I ever get to LA again, I'm going to find the location for where they do the exteriors.
Oh, I could probably figure that out for you too. Yeah, it's. I think I know where it's at.
We've got it written down somewhere where exactly it is, but apparently the whole area now is massively gentrified.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Not Randall Einhorn. What former child star directed 18 episodes?
Actors is my one of many weak spots. I'll just say Rob McElhaney, but I'm not sure.
Anybody else happen to know?
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage is right.
Nice.
So Gregory Scott Cummins is the category here. Kind of a tougher one, I think. What name is shared by Mac's gay uncle and by Dennis and Dee's triplet who they consumed in the womb?
Yeah, that's a reach. I don't even think I could get to that one.
I'll tell you, the uncle's name is silly the same way that Max is silly.
Yeah, I'm not going to get it. That's a good question.
Anybody have a thought?
I think it's Donald McDonald.
Yeah.
It is.
Donald McDonald.
Yeah. So this one is probably the reason why I wanted to host this game. Category is no puzzles, no puzzles, no puzzles.
Yes.
Dennis is asked why Charlie hate.
Because Dennis is a bastard man.
That is exactly it.
His delivery of that line is unreal.
Yeah. Move past it for our next one. What 2 or 3 word phrase appears so often on the show that it got its own segment in the Gang Does a Clip show?
Coming in hot with the news. I don't know.
Good guess. I think it looks like Pat might know, though.
Is it what is happening?
What is happening? When Mac and Charlie write a movie, it ends up being a lot like Thunder Gun, even having the same star. Who plays Thunder Gun?
Is this Dolph Lundgren?
It is Dolph Lundgren.
All right.
An underrated star, as he's described in the show.
Smells crime before it's happening.
He knows the truth.
Yep. Smells crime, back to the lab, full penetration, smells crime. In the episode, Dennis and Dee get a new dad. Charlie gets hard and gives himself a tattoo on his arm. What does the tattoo say?
I think it says bad news.
That's close enough. It says bad news.
Oh, yeah.
I think if they'd known the show was going to be lasting 20 years, they might not have given him that tattoo.
Yeah. And he's like spelling, which is out of character.
That's true. I think that this is the wrong time. It's a theory that in the episode where he is supposed to be going to underground boxing, that he got so much brain damage that he forgot how to read. So that's although I think this episode happens after that. But, there's a tradition of listener provided questions. This is something I kind of stole from the 1DS and Learn League about, because this is one I got wrong. Charlie goes to Bucks County and the gang gets invincible, but that's ex-urban Philly. Where did he go the first time he actually left town in a season 6 episode?
If you didn't get this one, Paul, I am very not confident in my abilities to get it. I don't know. I remember in the road trip episode, he was saying that he's never left Philly. So I'll just say a horse stable at the country club. I don't think that's outside of Philly, but
no. Any thoughts?
I would say they were on their way to the Grand Canyon. But if
no,
not,
I think that's something, but they never made it out of Philly in that one.
Never left Philly, yeah.
Or they went to that pets event.
They did go to they went to Atlantic City for the pets event, right? Where he takes out the money and donates $5,000.
Yeah, it is Atlantic City. I thought because I watched them all out of order.
Yeah.
I thought it was the baseball one. Yeah. But it's Atlantic City.
All right. Well, for a score update here, we have Annelise with 1, and Pat and Bailie tied at 4, but still a lot of ground to cover. And Paul, you said you had a special swing round. So what is in store for that?
So a lot of very famous people have been on the show. So we can do this one of 2 ways. I can either describe the character and name the character, you tell me who plays. Actually, maybe we'll do it that way. So I'll name the character and give you a brief description of him, and you tell me who plays him. So Bruce Mathis, who is Dennis and Dee's biological dad.
If you're looking for an actor name,
that's right.
This whole round, I'm just going to tap out. I don't know who that is.
It's Stephen Collins, who was on some hit show in the 90s that I'm unfamiliar with.
He got in a lot of trouble.
Seventh Heaven?
Yeah, the Seventh Heaven.
Yeah, he was the dad on Seventh Heaven.
I thought it was peculiar that he hasn't been on the show in a long time, and then I Googled him and found out why.
Yeah.
Yep, there's a good reason.
Yeah.
Turned out
Don't
huge
Google
weirdo.
Country Mac.
Okay, this is a 3-name guy, and it's like...
From American Pie, I think.
Is his last name Scott?
Yeah, we'll take that.
Okay.
Sean William Scott.
Nice.
I love Country Mac. Country Mac is one of my favorite characters in the show.
Oh, yeah.
He was a member of the gang for exactly 30 seconds because I typed it one time. Pappy McPoyle.
Pass. No idea.
Would it help if I told you he was a Mexican director?
Still, human names are not.
Okay.
I probably won't get many.
That would be Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, okay. I do know the name, but never would have connected it to this.
Ingrid Nelson, a.k.a. Fatty Magoo.
Oh, I know I've seen her somewhere else in her show or movie, but I will not be able to get her name.
That would be Judy Greer. And Cindy, who joins the gang after Dennis leaves.
Mindy Kaling.
That's right. Here's one. The Maniac.
I know it's off a real guy. I'll just guess last name Stone. I forget.
Neil, who's your second favorite wrestler after Macho Man Randy Savage?
Oh, me? Jeez. Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Roddy Piper.
Who turns out to be Canadian. I had no idea.
No, I don't. So, like I said, I don't watch the show religiously, right? But I do watch a ton of TikTok clips of them talking about the show, which I've seen more of that than the actual show. Have you seen the episode where he talks about where Glenn and all of them were talking about hanging out with Rowdy Piper?
No.
So on that episode, it was a huge deal that they got to meet him or whatever, and he always wore a leather jacket, and he wore his own jacket on the show that he wore in real life. But what I think it was Charlie who said he let him know that ever since he got stabbed once from a fan who came up, he always carries a gun with him, and the gun was in his coat that he's wearing in the episode, and it's in a small pocket, and he never took it out. Yeah.
The other funny thing about the episode is that when they arrest the maniac and he's in the back seat, he had a whole monologue he was going to say, and the person driving the cop car didn't know this and just drove off. So when you see him say, wait, that's not acting.
That's so funny. So after the swing round here, Bailey is going to pick up 2 extra points. So your total is at 6 right now.
Okay. Shall we go into our next round?
Let's do it.
Okay. So this is a tougher one, too. I'll take a description of this character rather than the name as well. Despite Charlie's obsession with the waitress, that is not the woman to whom he gets engaged. Who is this?
It's not the brother and sister, right? The rich couple.
No.
That's not it. Yeah. Tap.
This would be 12-year-old Sun Lee Kim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
From the microbrew restaurant, right?
What do you think they have back there? That door says pirate.
He's just throwing Charlie into the door.
Pirates here?
There's a funny blooper roll of them trying desperately to get through that scene. All right. Next up. In season 2, Dee is mockingly compared to a Sesame Street character. In season 3, she's compared to a Boston Celtics legend. This is a precursor to her being routinely insulted as being like what animal?
A bird.
Yes. And finally, I did all of them because it's funny. Who pooped the bed?
That was Frank.
That was.
There's wolf hair and newspaper. Inconclusive.
In the gang dances their asses off, we see the first instance of what characters misophonia. This aversion to specific noises is seen again when he is shushed, and most especially when he's on Family Fight.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gang's never won an Emmy, but the show has been nominated 3 times in what category?
I know that they don't like to show the technical on TV, so I'm going to say editing.
I'll give you another hint. It's not a category at all at the Oscars right now, but it will be in a couple of years. I think. No, it won't be in a couple of years. That's something else. Never mind.
I would say satire.
It's stunts, believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
I tried to track down what specific episodes they got nominated for, but I don't think it exists on the internet for some reason. So
There's a lot of very close to injury and life ending.
Yeah.
in the show.
I mean, look, if you're not willing to drive your car into a brick wall to fake your own death, I don't even know what we're doing here.
Just remember to actually jump out first.
Yeah.
But the scene where Caitlin Olsen banged her head in the car, she did that stunt, and if you look, there's a major dent.
Yeah.
After she does it, so that's
Dedication.
Yeah. Why do you have to pay the troll toll?
Gotta say this very closely here. I'll say to get into the boy's soul.
Correct.
With an S.
Gotta pay the troll toll to get in.
Yep. Who got Dee pregnant?
It was a donor.
A little more specific than that.
Was it Carmen?
Yeah. Filibuster being our category. Charlie claims to specialize in what field of law, which finally pays off in victory for him in the trial of the century?
Bird law is not within the realm of reason.
Hummingbirds are a legal tender.
Yeah.
To bird law, yes.
I'm not saying you can't have a hummingbird. The law just won't let you. Carmen and Artemis first appear in the episode that was the first one written for the show. In the episode, Charlie pretends to have what condition?
He does pretend to have cancer, I believe.
He does. After the first season, FX insisted that the show add a marquee name. They went with Danny DeVito, but in consideration was what star of the Many Saints of Newark?
Oh, I just heard about this recently, but I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that name. Once you say it, I'm going to click, but I'm not going to be able to get that.
Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's dead, so that might have affected the show. We know that Mac and Dee are married in real life, as are Charlie and the waitress. But in what episode did Glenn Howerton's wife appear?
It's such a great one.
Ironically, the dentist system. And she was Kaylee, the pharmacist.
Yes. He absolutely was.
Oh, that's his real wife on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Who is the single season point leader for the Philadelphia Flyers?
Ooh, sports.
This is the episode where Mac and Charlie end up on the ice.
Yes. Is it Gretzky? Or at least that's the answer that he guesses, right? No, he said he was going to guess Gretzky and he switches it to someone else. I'll just say Howard. I don't know.
Anyone happen to remember?
Reggie Leach.
Reggie Leach, yeah. This might be a tough one. The theme song for Always Sunny is Temptation Sensation. It, along with much of the show's incidental music, was written by what German who died 2 years before the show first aired?
I just want to make sure you realize that the past 3 questions of mine you've prefaced with, this might be a tough one. There's no way.
Make sure you get an easier one next time.
No, that's okay. I don't know this one either. Good question, though.
Yeah, basically, I'm reading them in the order I got them written down because I didn't think about distributing them. He's a guy named Heinz Keisling.
Oh, Keisling, of course.
Now I know.
Oh, man.
The funny part about him dying 2 years before the show first aired is we probably heard, I don't know if this Heinz Keisling guy has actual fans, but we've probably heard his music more than his actual fans have. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like stock music, kind of.
Yeah. So we're going to have a couple about a persona on the show. In the dentist system, Frank adopts a medical persona that reappears in the Antisocial Network. What is his first and last name?
His name is Dr. Mantis Toboggan.
It is. She's just playing. What is the first and last name of Dee's super racist Puerto Rican character?
It's something Martinez, and then they took the show off, or that episode off Hulu.
It is Martinez. It's Martina Martinez.
Martina Martinez.
I'm just playing. It's really bad.
Hopefully we have some much left behind us now to tell of our great adventures and our glorious triumphs. So I think we're at 30. Is that right?
So we're at 30. Yep. So for a little score recap here, Annelise, I've been watching the whole time, and I feel like the ones that you don't get, and then the ones you get are a little bit harder. But you're at 5 points, which is a great score. And then Pat, you're at 6 points, and Bailie is in the lead with 10. So Paul, I'm not sure if you had anything else we could do like a wager on, or we can have the scores end there and then do a couple for fun.
Okay, so what we can do, give me the make and model of any one of Dee's doomed cars.
Do you have a Dodge Stratus?
Close. A Dodge Neon.
Neon.
That's the one that gets driven into the wall.
Yep.
She had the PT Cruiser.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one that got rear-ended.
And the one that got wrecked in the zombie wedding.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. She's also had a Ford Aspire, which got stolen by the hitchhiker, and BMW 3.
I love some of the references you're all saying, because I feel like someone who's never seen the show. It's like Zombie Wedding,
Yeah.
like episode that was taken off. It's just Bird Law. It's just funny.
Yeah.
But no, these were awesome questions, Paul. Thank you for putting this together.
Oh, no problem. It was a lot of fun.
And great job, everyone. I mean, those were all really good scores, 5, 6, and 10. And let's start with Annelise. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go today? And then before we go, lastly, before we say goodbye, maybe one episode someone who's never seen the show should check out right away.
Sure. Shout out to my family, mom, dad, Justin, Ben, Zoe, my friends, coworkers who helped throw some random questions at me. And of course, my lovely Helldiver community out there spreading managed democracy and protecting Super Earth, which I couldn't be doing right now due to the show, but will return shortly.
Well, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you again on the show. Looking forward to having you back. Pat, with 6 points, great job today. I'm sure you're going to be back in the helicopter getting some more questions, but anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, and same thing with you, episode people should check out.
Yeah, shout out to my family, mother, father, and my brother. They were all pretty excited when I found out I was coming on one of my favorite shows here. So
nice.
Hello to them. I think my favorite episode is Gang Buys a Boat.
That's great.
That's a timeless one for me, but I always recommend too, if you want to really get into how developed the characters are, just complete insanity. The Gang Gets Analyzed is a great one to really discover what the characters are like.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. And same as I said to Annelise, I know both of you haven't been on a full episode before, but let us know and we'll get you on. We're looking forward to seeing you again. And then Bailie, great performance today. I think you only missed 2 regular questions. Actually, yeah, you only missed 2 questions the whole time because you had both of the swinger on one. So great job. Any shout outs from you, and then also an episode for people to check out.
Yeah. I want to shout out my husband, Dave, for watching this show with me yet again. We just rewatched the whole thing. So he's been dealing with me being a little bit more edgy and crass with my humor. And we have a 5-year anniversary coming up, and I'm glad that we went to the marriage store together. My favorite episode to start someone off on is definitely The Gang Gives Frank an Intervention. I feel like that's a good introduction to the characters. And I also like The Great Recession. There are just so many awesome episodes. Any episode that has The Gang Solves blank, all those are very good as well.
Those sound like fun. And Annelise, I realize, I don't know if you gave us one. Was there one that you want to mention?
Oh, I think it did slip my mind, but I think the same one or two I think I mentioned earlier. So probably Charlie Rules the World is probably my favorite, but The Gang Reignites the Rivalry is also unparalleled in its writing. I think it's pretty great.
Awesome. Well, great. We'll make sure that's on the list there too. And then, last but not least, Paul, thank you so much for putting this together, and great questions. And who would you like to shout out in any episodes everyone should check out from your point of view?
Well, shout out absolutely to my phenomenally patient wife, who doesn't mind that I'm watching the same episode like 15th time. The 3 episodes that I remember laughing all the way through: Charlie Catches a Leprechaun, Charlie McDennis, The Game of Games,
Yes,
and Frank versus Russia in the last season.
Well, I feel like we have a great list here. So if you are listening to this just because it's on your feed and you want to check out the show, then you have a great place to start. But yeah, thank you so much to Pat and Bailie and Annelise and Paul for joining us today. Jeff, anything you'd like to say or any recommendations before we go?
Oh, there's so many good ones. I mean, let's see. I'm thinking a lot of them that I like are in season 4. Gang solves the gas crisis. We alluded to Mac and Charlie Die. Who pooped the bed. Shout out for Dennis Reynolds and Erotic Life. Just for the Rob Thomas in there, and of course Nightman Cometh, which is probably the best episode of the series. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I think it's a wonderful show, and I'm so glad that we did this today.
I am too, and as a film buff, like I said, I haven't seen too many of the episodes, but I did really love the episode where Charlie's acting like Serpico, just because I know the movie so well. So yes, that's a great one to check out. But yeah, thank you to all of our guests today, and another thank you to our network, Airwave Media. If you'd like to check out some other great shows, especially ones that are maybe entertainment focused, you have the Movies That Made Us. You have Queen's podcast, which is fun, about different monarchies, and then the Unbiased Science podcast. So thank you very much to our network. Thanks to Matt and Ken, who weren't here today, and for all of our guests. My name is Neil, and that was another episode of Triviality.